Yes, international updates. Yes, what is happening between the US and Venezuela and the reactions from other world leaders. We talked about that. But now, I've seen most people calling on Russia and China to come into that war between, is it a real war? Yeah, some say it's a war, some say whatever you want to term it. It's a war, some say whatever you want to term it. But I've had some people suggest or analyze and say that Russia and China should get into this to help Maduro, because of course they had offered to help in one or the other if America of the US steps in Venezuela. And they said if the US soldiers step foot in Venezuela, China and Russia will come in to help. But let me tell you why China and Russia will not come in to help this. The reasons why China and Russia will not come to Venezuela or go to Colombia or South American countries to help those South American countries is this. You remember, Russia went to Ukraine unprovoked. And the reason why Russia went to Ukraine unprovoked is they claimed that Ukraine belongs to Russia. And toppling the government of Ukraine and installing a Russia-backed president will restore Ukraine back to Russia. And they went back to the Soviet Union eras, that Ukraine was part of Russia, Belarus was part of Russia, and most of the countries within that area was part of Russia, was part of Soviet Union that was led and ruled by Russia. So Russia is just claiming what was rightfully theirs. Yeah, they're claiming what was rightfully theirs. And that is why Putin has all the audacity to step in wherever he wants to. Yes, he has already taken over Donetsk and these other parts within the reach of Donetsk and all that. He has annexed those places. And he's saying he's not going to leave those places, and he's not going to have partial ownership of those places. He needs to own those places. He needs those places to be part of Russia. That is the only way the war between Russia and Ukraine will do what? Will stop. So that is on the Russian backyard. Now, US and Southern America, they are kind of brothers. They are kind of brothers. Those speaking different languages, but kind of brothers. Now, US has a claim, or US can claim those places because it's South America. So if it's South American, then we are Americans. We are the big brothers, and we can come into your backyard any moment and any time to do what we feel is right for the interest of the big brother. If whatever younger brothers or younger sisters are messing up the elder brother, or the family of the elder brother has the mandate to go and discipline the younger brothers, and even take the leadership mandate in the younger brother's yard to make sure that the younger brother behaves. That is the same thing that Trump said. The US will install a government in Venezuela, a government that will ensure there is a peaceful transition of elections and leadership in Venezuela. They don't want to repeat the same mistake that happened in Afghanistan. They don't want to repeat the same mistake that happened somewhere else, Afghanistan being one of them. So with that, they will instill a government that will work with the US government for some time until there is a peaceful transition of power to the Venezuelans. And he insisted and said, even with the oil that is in Venezuela, because Venezuela is rich in oil, they will send the American oil companies with billions of money to create a new infrastructure in Venezuela. That is a brother taking care of the younger brother. Okay, the older brother taking care of the younger brother. The same thing that is happening between Russia and Ukraine. Russia is not going for Ukraine because Ukraine is just any other country, but they are targeting the natural resources in Ukraine. They are targeting the natural resources in Ukraine, which are very key to most of the superpower countries. Okay, for yourself to remain to be a superpower country, natural resources count most, because that is what you will depend on for the production of everything that you need, and that is what is happening in Ukraine. Now, we are done. Not really done, but at least we've talked about. You now see the similarity between Russia going to Ukraine and US going to Venezuela, and very soon going to Colombia, because again, Colombia is just on the they're on the radar. They're on the radar. Very soon going to Colombia again, because they're on the radar. Now let's talk about why China will not engage in this war. China has a problem with Taiwan. China is claiming that Taiwan belongs to China. And at any point, China can annex Taiwan. But the reason why China hasn't annexed Taiwan is because Taiwan is a US protected country. A US protected country with a lot of high-tech US military within China. And why is the US in China? There are a couple of things. To control the trade route within the Chinese, southern Chinese waters, that is between Ukraine, which is very, very, very key to the world trade, to everyone. Ama the world trade, everything passes in between there because the shortest route to Africa and shortest route to these other places. So if China takes control of that place, then that means that US will have to pay a lot of money to make her goods go through that place. And the US doesn't need that one. He wants to remain relevant, and he wants to remain to be the superpower, controlling and dictating everything around the world, and they cannot allow that. And that is why the US sent her military and sent her military personnel and software and hardware, advanced, not just any military thing, to Taiwan. China is still doing the drills along the Taiwan coast, along the Taiwan coastal line. They have tried to besiege, that is Taiwan. They are yet to get into Taiwan to start the fighting. And if they dare do that, enter the war between US and, they will be demystifying or undoing their claim for Taiwan, And that is why they cannot get into this war. They can talk, just like any other leaders will be talking about the very thing, but they cannot effectively get themselves in that war because they'll be undoing what they're demanding on the other end. And the US cannot just allow all those drugs to get into the US. And that money that is being used, it's favoring other nations to produce more of better military equipments and softwares to counter the US ideology of becoming the greatest nation and the superpower nation, controlling all these other nations. Trump cannot allow that. And they said most of the chemicals that are creating all those drugs that are getting to the US comes from China. So to stop that, they have to deal with the brother who is next here, because this is the brother who is destroying the family of the elder brother. So if we deal with this brother here, now there will be no more production of these things, these chemicals, these drugs that will get themselves in the US. So if I deal with him, I've sorted the whole thing. So you see, that's the bigger picture. That is what the US is trying to do. And that is why Trump said they will create a government in Venezuela that will stay there for some time until all these things have been stopped. All these chemicals have stopped coming into Venezuela. All these drugs have been, the manufacturing of these drugs have been stopped. That is the only time US will feel like Venezuela is now safe to lead herself, and they will install another leader in Venezuela who will do that work. But iko kazi, there is some work to be done. But I think Trump is ready to dirty his hands and do the dirty job for the sake of US, for the sake of the people of US, for the sake of the economy of the US, for the sake of the prosperity of the US. I think he's ready to do that. That is it for now. Please don't leave without subscribing, comment, and share. I love you all. It's been your host, Alan. Until next time we meet, same place, same time. Bye.